How is it going, YouTube? Malagant here. We'll be talking about Diablo 4 as I've gotten quite a few people asking me about how I feel about the game so far. I'll start with the character creation. It is quite interesting and very well done. It doesn't have complete freedom, as it does a really good job of maintaining the style and the characteristics of the class that you're choosing, but still gives you satisfying amounts of options to create a unique character for yourself, which also looks very badass, I must say. Diablo 4 is a multiplayer, always online game, where you will constantly see other players from all around in the open world, but it seems like this did not stop them from giving us the right to our name somehow, which is something that I really appreciate. You can open 5 characters with the same name, whatever that might be, is up to you. Right off the bat, as you get into the game, you realize how atmospheric Diablo 4 is. Diablo 4, with the limited amount of time and content that was available to me, is the most immersive ARPG experience. On my computer, the game was running really smooth 90% of the time. However, transitioning between new zones and entering to towns did meet with some frame drops or stutters at times, which I really am hoping can be ironed out with the release or pre-release, we'll see. It seems like Diablo 4 is following the footsteps of Diablo 2 when it comes to the graphics style, the atmosphere, and how dark and gore the world environment is. This also reflects on most of the conversations with the NPCs. Let's talk about the combat a little bit. Granted, I'm certain that from this beta alone I'm probably missing a lot of information when it comes to it. It is incredibly well telegraphed. From array of effects to swings, from projectiles to environments, everything is crystal clear. This is, in my opinion, one of the most impressive parts about the game. It somehow maintains the fast-paced combat, but also manages to let you see everything going on around you. Every character is given a dash, roll dodge from level 1 that lets you gap close, open, or get out of danger. You have the Diablo 3-alike 6 skill action bar. Another thing that I would like to mention that impressed me is that 6 is a limited amount of number. Someone can want more skills, or someone can want even less, maybe much less. Diablo 4 gave me the feeling that the game wants all of these 6 abilities to have an impact in your combat. Up until now I have played Barbarian to level 25, Rogue to level 20 and Sorcerer to level 18. I can tell that every single skill that I have chosen and slotted I use almost always in cooldown, and they have always had a purpose, a unique purpose, I must add. Without going too deep into this, as I'm sure there will be videos dedicated to this topic, for the time that I have played Diablo 4, I can easily say everything that I have seen is a step up from Diablo 3 in comparison. This definitely is a welcome thing, of course. There are going to be a lot of voice-acted dialogues with short game disruptions or full-blown cutscenes. Apart from the known bugs interfering with it, everything was seamlessly easy to skip and in an instant. This is a massive upgrade over Diablo 3 as well, and it's also very welcome. In Diablo 3, you were kinda getting stuck on some dialogues, or it was taking you a while to skip it even though you have skipped. Now I'll be talking about, these were the pros, and I'll be talking about some double-edged or on-the-fence topics here for me especially. One of the things is that Blizzard is not afraid to try something new here. It's very apparent. My most criticized topic of other ARPG developers is they are just too afraid to change their game or too afraid for upsetting their player base. Blizzard is genre defining once again in my opinion here, or perhaps just not necessarily afraid to change the direction of Diablo. Diablo 4 has consoles and PCs together in this game. They're playing together, and they will be playing together in any aspect of the game as far as I can tell. I'm assuming that it will be the easiest plug and play up to date. Diablo 3 was something like a plug and play game too. What I mean by that is basically just logging in seamlessly, doing one rift here and there and just logging out, so there's no preparation or within the party, also with randoms queuing together, etc. Another thing that Diablo 4 will be bringing to the table is going to be the in-game voice chat, which is pretty interesting development too, to be honest with you. It's one of those things that you might not even care. but it will be there for you to communicate within your party, versus the hardship of the game, let's say. It will have world bosses with spawn times, seems like for various different levels, including the day one ones, day one characters, let's say. You can clearly see that there's a shift in the Diablo franchise towards MMORPG, ARPG perhaps, with these things, and the instancing of the open world and dungeons. About the dungeons, I was always having fun and looking for even more, up to the point that I actually stopped doing the campaign at level 7 and just did dungeons until 24. You can see the playthrough in my YouTube, but this said, I can definitely see the dungeons getting a little bit repetitive if the variety fails and the gameplay style stays exactly the same within them. Let's talk about the loot though. I will tell you that I'm not fully knowledgeable about this. Personally, I prefer everything being a bit more rare, but accessible to all characters within the game, trying to drop the smart loot, such as Barbarian finding only melee weapons, while Sorcerer is only finding caster ones. In Diablo 4, it seems to be this way. As far as I can tell, Diablo 4 has this going for it. This plus, there are also certainly some items or item types that are untradeable to other players, so they're kind of bound to your character or your account. Makes the economy of the game suffer, if there is even one, or if there is going to be one. Also, the trading is almost non-existent, on par with the economy because of this reason. So there's quite a bit to talk about the loot actually, but I'm really trying to hold back because my knowledge is very limited about this. So this is also why it is on the fence topics for me. I'm going to be talking about this much more in the upcoming weeks, let's say, when I know more about the game. Or perhaps when the game releases and then I'll talk about it then. I'm not in a rush. So, a little bit on the cons of the game on my part. Diablo 4 is probably not going to be the best game for hardcore players. So if you're a hardcore enthusiast when it comes to ARPGs, one life type of character, this game is probably not going to be catering for you the best, at least. Is this a new type of gameplay with many world bosses and unforgiving mechanics that is probably going to be requiring quite the practice, especially blind. Added server problems on top of this, and the multiplayer matchmaking on top. You're relying on other players to succeed or play good as well. Even though I myself really enjoy playing quite a bit of hardcore RPGs and especially single player ones, I am sure hardcore is not what I will be focusing in Diablo 4. If you're an ARPG fan, but looking for an offline experience, such as Diablo 2, Grim Dawn, Titan Quest, Torchlight, Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing, Diablo 4 is not going to be offering an offline experience. And even if it did, I doubt it would be, that entertaining, because it's clear to me that it is definitely trying to be more online than Diablo 3 even, in that sense. The interface of Diablo 4 is really something. The pop-ups and the simplistic style of the interface is something that I really enjoyed and I actually really like. However, overall the interface of Diablo 4 could really use a lift. Perhaps the action bar and the skill set buttons with their animations on top, they're pretty cool, especially most of the time. However, the character sheet, in-game fonts including the damage font, item art, inventory, stash, vendor inventory, they just all look outdated compared to anything Diablo 4 has to offer right here. And they're not a step up from Diablo 3, perhaps about the same quality, sometimes maybe even worse. Sometimes I could even say they might be looking a little bit like Diablo Immortal even, perhaps like a, mobile game. There are some things that I would like to mention when it comes to for future, and I would like to perhaps title these as the unknown. For the final thought, there are still a lot of unknowns about Diablo 4, and these things are pretty much bread and butters of ARPGs, such as itemization, We know quite a bit about this already given the beta experience, and can tell that it is going to be quite straightforward, simplified itemization, while definitely doing much better than Diablo 3 because of the item sets, legendaries, and the item-based differences. Even though we know all of this, items can be improved on as you go further into the game. At the end of the day, in beta, there was only 25 levels available. So, you know, I'm sure we are going to be witnessing quite more towards the late game, end game, and then, you know, higher Paragon levels and whatnot. So itemization can definitely be improved on. Can be going to the negative as well, I suppose. So this is one of the unknown topics for me for now. It can definitely be done so much better, for sure. Another aspect that makes or breaks ARPGs is the late game, the end game. It needs a randomized loot system while maintaining the fresh feeling every day, managing to give you the feeling that there's still a chase and a grind to look forward to progress your character or your account. This is something completely hidden in Diablo 4 right now. So it is something that I'm going to be looking forward to learning or you know, exploring myself. Lastly, I would like to mention that the grind and its potential in Diablo 4. Diablo 4 will be offering many aspects of chase in it. Apart from the obvious that comes with any ARPG, such as item upgrades, gems, summoning, and crafting resources, in this game, in Diablo 4, I fully expect Blizzard to include many more things to chase, such as skins, transmogs, vanity items, mounts, pets, potentially, perhaps even emotes, portal effects, housing, you know, decoration systems, probably items, seasonal decorations, whatever. On top of this, I'm pretty sure there will be some, you know, show-off account upgrades as well, such as like PvP rankings, titles, and many more things that I cannot come up with right now. But I'm pretty sure you get the point. So this is the direction that Blizzard is trying to take Diablo. And these are the things that I'm going to be saying. So I've tried to like mention the things that I have liked, the things that are a little bit on the fence, perhaps some stuff that are the cons, especially the interface in my opinion, and then some stuff that are like still unknown to me. I'll be playing quite a bit of Diablo 4, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching.